Hello and welcome to tip 2 of 5 tips in 5 days. So today I'll walk you through what we're going to do in a moment. Before I do that, I just want to remind you about the other 4 tips that we're talking about this week. Yesterday I took a look at your dismissal and probation procedures. So if you've not watched that, please check it out. That's available on my profile now. Tip 3 is about understanding what strengthened employee rights might look like. Tip 4 is making sure you're prepared for an audit or inspection. And tip 5, we'll be looking at making sure your managers have effective training in place and that you're keeping abreast of all the latest news. So what are we going to cover today? Well, as the title suggests, we're going to take a look at the contracts you have in place with folk that work in your business. Now, there's a number of different descriptors that you can use to describe the types of contracts that people work on, mainly related to the worker type, but not always. Things like part-time, full-time, sole trader, freelance, casual, apprentice, 0 hours, variable. There's even descriptors like annualized worker, or maybe inside or outside IR35. Now, don't worry about all of those. I'm not going to go into each of them in detail, but these are just some descriptors that you might use or hear in your business. And it's safe to say that an employment contract is the bedrock of your relationship with an employee. It sets out the terms that are applicable to them as well as to you in the context of that employment relationship. And it's important to remember that it is an employment relationship, and we know that there's going to be some changes coming at us. The government have already committed to making additional changes, things like taking a look at 0 hours contracts and banning exploitative 0 hours contracts. Changing statutory sick pay so that it's a day one right, whereas at the moment for statutory sick pay there are 3 waiting days. Those are just some of the changes that are coming down the pipe in the near future. So it's incredibly important that you know who works for you and that you have the right and correct agreement or contract in place with them. The government has also announced a single status of worker. So rather than at the moment we have employees, we have workers, and we have the self-employed, going forward, there'll just be 2 types. So the genuinely self-employed, and then everybody else will be classed as a worker. Now, we don't know the detail of what that will truly mean in practice, and the devil, as always, is in the detail. But what can we do now? What are the things that we could be taking action on? Well, first off, the biggest part of this, and it will take some time, it's going to take some effort, is audit. Audit who works for you. Do you know who they are? Do you know where they work or do most of their work? What role do they do? How often do they work for you? How much do you pay them? How do you pay them? Those are just some of the things you're going to want to collate to start on this journey of making sure you've got the right people with the right contracts. I would also recommend that you include anybody that's on a statement of work, not to say that they will need a contract of employment, because that's not how you're contracting with them. There'll be a different agreement in place for them, but to make sure that they are genuinely a statement of work individual. Likewise, with a freelancer or somebody who's 0 hours, if they're on a more regular work pattern or are doing more work for you, it might be a different employment relationship or a different relationship you have with them now. So you want to make sure that you know where you are today. And then once you know where you are today, you can then take a look at what contracts or agreements do you have in place with each of those individuals. Is it correct as of what you know today? Might you need to make some changes? And in that, if you have records, wherever those records might be, hard copy or soft copy, if you have an HR system, then great, have a look at that and check what you found out against what's in the record there. And maybe check with your bookkeeper or accountant if they themselves are keeping records. Well, they will be keeping records, but you want to make sure that what they have lines up with you, with what you have, so that everything lines up and there's no one thing that is different to the next. And then another thing that I would personally take a look at are the timesheets. Are people filling out timesheets? And if they are, how much are they saying that they're working for you? And does that align with what you found? As well as invoices for statement of work or freelancers. Those are outside IR35. Make sure that everything tracks all the way through. Now that's quite a bit of work. I'm not gonna lie. Even if you have half a dozen people in your business, that's still going to be work, but it will be worth it in the long run. It definitely will, so that you make, because you're going to need to make sure everybody's got the right terms in place on the right basis, so that as things change through the government changes in terms of the single status of worker, statutory sick pay changes, etc., you then know which individuals you then need to go and talk with and make sure that their contracts are up to date. So those are my ideas. I'd love to hear what other ideas that you have. Please pop your thoughts and ideas in the comments. Would you take any other action? Is there something that I've missed that you think would be key? Have you had this in the recent past and you've found some things out along the way, and it'd be a great example to share with people? Please let us know. If you've got any questions or concerns around this or anything else employment related, please do call me, email me, send me a direct message. I'm more than happy to help. If you'd like to book a time to chat with me, I'll let you know how to do that in the comments as well. Even if it's like a 15-minute quick chat, no obligation, just checking where you are. Now join me for tip 2 tomorrow, when I'll be taking a look at proposed strengthened employee rights even. That's tip 2 done. It doesn't end there though. Once this week is done with 5 tips in 5 days, on the 3rd of September, I'll be taking a look at the Employment Rights Bill, and the 17th of September, taking a look at the employment law changes coming at us in October of this year. And those are changes which will be made that you'll need to make sure that you're up to speed with and doing something about. So join me then. Otherwise, until we hit tip 3, have a great rest of your day. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you soon. Bye.